Shalom, beloved. I had hoped to do this video more about Sukkot before Sukkot started, but I'm actually going to be in Washington, D.C. very soon, and as I had mentioned before, I'm going to be singing and playing the harp there. It's really an awesome blessing. I'm just blessed by the invitation in the first place, and our King has given me one confirmation after another that this is indeed his plan, and I'm just really excited. It's not about how many people are there. I was told that they're not sure how many people will come. It's not about the numbers. It could be just one person, and it will be all worth it traveling all that way from Oklahoma to Washington, D.C. So I'm just very excited, and I continue to ask for prayers. So my hope is that whenever I post another video, though, it will have something more in detail about Sukkot, and hopefully also some clips from my trip as well. As far as I know, it's not going to be live streamed, but there will be a video of it, and I'm going to be putting together a video with maybe a little bit of everything, a little bit about Sukkot, a little bit about the trip, and this is my first time in Washington, D.C., I think in my entire life. So, yeah, I would really appreciate your prayers, and just really excited about seeing what God's going to do. Yeah, some really amazing things. Just the confirmation has come in most beautiful ways, as far as like, even from my Bible, I had a fan on page where my Bible opened up to. I'm sure you guys have had moments like this where it opens up and you're just in awe of our King, because it's exactly what you needed to read. It was exactly, you can hear his voice in the words that you're reading. I have had that happen. I've had also even the verse of the day for today, the picture that went with it was from the Capitol, at the Washington, D.C. So it's like just one thing after another. And actually, I wanted to share those things with you guys, and I forgot to grab I have a Bible here, but it's not the one that was open to the, oh, here it is. Okay, maybe I can't share it with you then. I want to share with you guys the scripture. I might share this on my Facebook too. I don't know if I'll get a chance to, but first of all, this is from, I know this is from Abba, and so then sometimes I think, well, I don't know if it's supposed to be just between him and I'm not supposed to share it publicly. But then I also think that sometimes he shares things with us that we are supposed to share with you. So so today, here I am, my first time in Washington, D.C., and the verse of the day, look at the picture. You see that? Isn't that something? That's just amazing to me. And the verse is, "Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights, and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey, and robbing the fatherless." Isaiah 10, 1 through 2. And I believe that Abba is reminding me that the word, the proclamation, the resounding, I'm not sure what the right word is, but yeah, I'd say of the voiceless, of the hurting, that needs to be heard. Justice needs to be made. And I don't care what it doesn't matter what your political views are, or how you feel about the current president, but even when we've had presidents in the past that I did not agree with them at all, you always pray for the president, because throughout history, throughout time, the one in authority is always the one who God has put in authority. And so you pray for them, you lift them up, you respect them. And so, there's been presidents we've had but I prayed for them. Didn't matter how I felt. So yeah, I would say now it's like the time to pray for protection, also for God's Spirit to rest upon the nation's leader. And for people around the world, your leaders, wherever you are, to pray for our leaders, to pray for the widows, to pray for the orphans, to pray for the unborn child. I am a strong pro-life supporter. I've mentioned that many times before. There's countless stories of babies who have now gone on to change the world scientifically, or whatever they've done, and they were nearly aborted. And I do understand that some mothers are in a situation where they don't know how to get out of it, and they don't have a way to support, and so they're just lost. And that's the other prayer we need to be praying for, is families to not be broken, to be mended, and to be strengthened. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in the world, but I tell you what, there's a lot of amazing things happening, because people are speaking up. They're speaking up about our King. I don't know how many of you have gotten to see the pictures and things of the prayer there in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol. It was just amazing. I mean, absolutely. And Jonathan Cahn was there, and I don't know if you're familiar with him. I heard him speak in person when I was a little girl, and he actually inspired me to dig deeper into the Word of God and to dig deeper into my relationship with God. I was probably 11 or 12 years old, and I just was so inspired to just know God in a closer way. I'd always loved God, but it was just inspiring. Rabbi Jonathan Cahn. So, yeah. The other thing, that's right, so the verse, so that was pretty amazing to me. I had to share that with you guys. Sukkot, by the way, is feast of, or festival, you could say feast festival, of tabernacles, when we sleep in a temporary dwelling, or we eat in a temporary dwelling. And I want to talk more about that when I come back, but in case I don't know, I don't get to, that's probably the most one of the most important things. A reminder to us of the miracle that our King did for his people in the desert, traveling to the promised land, as well as a reminder to us that this life here on this earth is temporary, and that we have, we're in a temporary dwelling. So we share times it lasts not just one day like the other ones, but it lasts for a couple days. It lasts for 7, 8 days. Some people celebrate an extra day, and we have there's a special procedure for the 8th day as well. So, but this is before I went to sleep last night, and this is what just shook my whole core of me inside. I read this. My Bible was open to this. And it's not to say, when I read this, it's not to say that there aren't people who will hear and listen where I go in Washington, D.C., or wherever I go throughout my life, and so far in the past too. But this is this, I believe, Abba was sharing with me what will happen, though. There will be times where this happens. And so I'm going to share it with you guys. This is Ezekiel chapter 33, starting in verse 30. More than anything, I'm sharing this in a video as just an awe and a reminder to me. God speaking to my heart in this way. It's just amazing. Note well, O mortal, your fellow countrymen who converse about you by the walls and in the doorways of their houses, and say to each other and propose to one another, come and hear what word has issued from Adonai. They will come to you in crowds, sit before you in throngs, and will hear your words, but they will not obey them. For they produce nothing but lust with their mouths, and their hearts pursue nothing but gain. To them you are just a singer of bawdy songs, who has a sweet voice and plays skillfully. They hear your words, but will not obey them. But when it comes, and come it will, they shall know that a prophet has been among them. It kind of makes me actually want to cry, because I have no doubt that Abba himself opened this up to me as a reminder to me. There have been times when I have sang, and his words have poured out from me while I've been singing and worshiping him. And I know there are those who receive it, But there are also those who his words fall on deaf ears, and it's heartbreaking to my spirit, to my heart. And so yeah, it's painful, but Abba reminded me last night before I went to sleep with this, that although that may happen, and my song and my words might just be like nothing, the time it's as it says, and come it will. They shall know that a prophet has been among them. They shall know, in other words, they shall know that God himself has spoken to them. And I never call myself a prophet. You know, you'll never hear me say that, or a prophetess. But as a friend of mine pointed out years ago, that when you think about the prophets in the Bible, it's not so much that they were self-proclaimed prophets, but they were in fact people, ordinary people, who decided, who made the choice to do exactly what God said, to speak exactly what God said, no matter how humiliating they may look. No matter how lowly they may appear, no matter how crazy they may look to other people. The prophets, they love God so much, they had that desire that whatever it takes, God, whatever it takes, even if I appear naked before everyone, whatever it takes for people to hear you, to know who you are, let it be. And so, there have been times when he's asked me to do things they're not easy, and I struggle, but I want to do them, and I know that as a result of that, he has used me. I'm not perfect. I am an imperfect vessel, but he doesn't use the perfect ones. He doesn't use the smartest ones. He doesn't use the greatest ones. God uses the most broken people to do his work, because that's what he specializes in. He specializes in taking the the least expected, the least qualified, because it's not about us, it's about him and his glory, and that is how he's glorified, and the love he has for his people. I just love that so much about him. I love so much that he takes the lowest of the low and he lifts them up. And this is to me, this is that experience. I don't know, between now and the event that's to come, anything could happen, but regardless, the fact that the heart, may it be, I pray, but the heart is right, and that your people are blessed, and that those who have yet to hear and whose ears have been closed, that they would hear your word and they would have life eternally with you. Amen. 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 Bless you guys. I love you guys so much. I am planning to, like I said, take my camera with me. Thank you, Miss Kiara, for that camera. It's really great quality, and get some clips for you guys, and celebrate Sukkot in a way with you guys. I hope that your Sukkot's going to be awesome, and yeah. And of course, if anything were to happen between now and then, of course, hopefully I would never go before the timing that God has for me, but I don't know what his time is, so whatever happens, I just want you guys to know that I love you so much, and to never stop seeking the King, and the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And it's something to rejoice about, but also to work fervently to reaching out to as many souls as possible. In love, not in condemnation, not in anger, but in love. What does it say in Proverbs? The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. You have to be a tree of life, one of hope and kindness and peace and joy, in order to reach out to a soul. A soul cannot see any difference between you and them if you are filled with anger and hurt and hate. But the life of the King is a light into the world. Yeshua, the Messiah. Amen. Bless you, beloved. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom early. Chag Sameach. Shalom.